call to order the Town of Lake Lure Marine Commission regular meeting Tuesday, June 14th at 4 p.m. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
Madam Mayor, I have one change under Article 6, Section F, addition of Boy Scout, I believe it's Troop 605, I think 605. What's your troop number, 605? Boy Scout Troop 605 permit fee waiver.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any other changes or additions to the agenda? Then do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as edited?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as posted.
I'll second.
Then the agenda is adopted as edited. We will now open the floor to public comment, and I know Mr. Don Henderson. Take your time, we have plenty of time. So when you get up here, if you will just state your name and your address, please.
Is this about item F?
Yeah, if it's about Iron Map, you should talk about it then, right?
Well, if he wants to public comment, he can only talk about it now.
Not supposed to talk about
Oh,
agenda items.
Mr. Henderson,
Yes, ma'am.
this is my fault, so I apologize. But we added this item to our agenda right now, so we need to ask you to wait, wait until that time, because we're not allowed to have someone make a public comment about something that's on the agenda. I apologize for, of all people, for making you come up here. You can have extra
I've got some
desserts.
sheets that I was gonna give to each person, wait till then. or-
Wait till then, that'll be perfect. Thank you so much. I apologize for making you do that.
Glad to be here.
Is there anyone else who wanted to make a public comment? Yeah. Then we will move to the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve to the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the consent agenda is approved as written. We have no unfinished business, so we will move along to new business. And the first item on new business is Marina Boat Slip late payment fee and fee for changing boat slips. And Ms. Dana Bradley will enlighten us.
This first request is kind of have two in one. So ever since we took over the Marina Slip Rentals, we have noticed a lot of renters paying late. And there's really been no consequences for paying late. And so it's been a lot of staff time trying to track these people down, and phone calls, emails, all of that. And so we called around, and a lot of other places have a late fee implemented. And so we're asking that a suggested late fee of $100 with a grace period of 3 days before the fee is incurred be implemented, and that we recommend the loss of the boat slip with no refund after the payment is 30 days late. And that would also apply to payments that are mailed in as well.
Any comments?
I'm a little apprehensive to have 3 days as the grace period. Seems like it should be a little bit longer than that.
Okay, and that was just one that I had heard from another place, and so anything would
You
be.
guys think 7, 10, maybe 10 days, 15 days? I mean,
Because I don't think it would make any
10
more
days would
work
be
for
great.
you, whether it's 3
Yeah,
or 15,
that's not-
let's
yeah.
say.
Right.
Because, and I think everybody probably agrees on the 30 days. But we have so many of the people live in Florida or Illinois or whatever.
Right.
You know, so I think that probably would, but that'd probably make more work for you than just giving 15 days, to be
Right.
honest with you. If that,
Yeah, I personally think 2 weeks, which is splitting the hair a little bit,
Okay.
14 days, because
okay,
I'd hate for somebody to get a $100 penalty just because the US mail service was slow as they have been lately.
Right, and yeah, anything is wonderful. There's just no fee now.
right, I think this would just make more work for you than not having it.
Okay.
Okay, so, are there any other questions about this issue? If not, does someone want to make a motion or revise recommendation?
Dana, do you have any information about the change of boat slip? that you
Yes,
wanted to present
I didn't
to
know if
this?
y'all wanted to do this one first and then move to that second part
Are they
of
tied
it.
together before we make a motion?
The two
Okay.
separate ones.
Two
Yeah,
separate.
I'd make a recommendation. I impose a suggested late fee of $100 with a 14-day grace period. And then the loss of the boat slip if the payment is more than 30 days late.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that recommendation is approved unanimously.
And then, ever since we took over the slip renters as well, a big problem has been everyone wants to change slips. Where they either want to in slip or they want to be further out or closer to the boardwalk, which is fine, but it's a juggling act on our part trying to, when we move one, then we got to move another one, and it's, yeah,
So my question, that was my question.
yeah,
The marina's full,
right.
right? So boat A is requesting to go to slip B. If it's full, how are they moving?
They can't. And so
Okay.
this is all happening before it gets full. And so people are calling throughout the year and
Okay.
they're put on a boat move list. And they're like, whenever
Okay.
everyone's renewing in January, that's when we're doing this thing.
Sure. I
And
didn't
as-
understand how you could,
Yeah.
okay. I
And
got you.
if anyone gives up their slip throughout the year, then
Right.
we go back to that list and we move someone and then move someone else into their spot. And, yeah, so it kind of gets a little convoluted, but. And so, and we called about 4 other places and they all have a fee for moving, for changing boat slips.
So I can imagine that's like a firestorm at the beginning of the year, right?
It is. It creates a lot of work. Yeah, moving everyone and.
I was just
Um,
reading it.
And some people want to move 3 or 4 times. We'll move them a little further out, and then they request to be back on the list because they want to get, 2 more spaces out if possible. And so it,
You could double the fee depending on, 1, 2, 4, 8.
However many times you
in
move.
a year
Right.
you move, right?
there we go.
I-
And so, yeah, our request was for $100 for each time they want to move. And that was what we found unanimously around the place.
Okay, any more questions or consideration on that? Do I hear a motion then?
I'll make a motion, we have a suggested moving fee of $100 per each request to change boat slip.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then that recommendation is unanimously passed. Are you, you might as well just stay there because
Yep,
that's the
got one
end of
more.
that, and we're moving on to item B, which is the Marina Boat Slip Payment Plan.
Yep.
Sounds like something you hear on TV, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
And so right now, currently, boat slip renters have the option of paying either in full by January 15th or breaking up into 3 payments in January, February, and March. And a lot of times it's keeping up with everyone that's making payments and when, and if they're late, and it's a lot of work. And no other place that has slips does a payment plan for this reason, because it does generate a lot of time for our staff. And so we were asking that the payment plan be suspended and that payment in full be due by January 31st of each year. That way they have the whole month of January to pay. And it just kind of eliminates it, because most people do have the funds to pay for it, in full. It's not really a problem there. And we've had people out of state and they're like, well, now I'm out of state and, oh, now I can't pay for 2 more months, and it's just really a hassle. We've tried to make everything work, and
I would suggest we let people know as soon as possible if we're going to
Absolutely.
do that, because they might, they might have planned in their budget for the next year to do it on a quarterly basis or whatever, and you tell them it's all due. It would have been better probably to do this in January
I know, and it's,
for a year.
yeah,
But
and
this
it's
is not even
something,
really quarterly, this is just January, February, March, right? 3 payments.
it is.
Right.
And that's something, if approved, we could send out information immediately.
Should we update our regulations to have this in
Is
there?
that, yeah, I was
It's
wondering
not
about
in there, and so, yeah,
That's one place to codify it. instead of just hanging out there, it's keep it all in one spot, so. But in any case, I think we can go ahead and, I'll make a motion, Madam Mayor, to approve the removal of the boat slip payment plan and update the payment option to a one-time payment due by January 31st of each year, and to incorporate it into the lake use regulations.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then it is unanimously passed. This is your lucky day, Dana.
And I think I'm here for number 3 too.
You are here for the next item, which is, item C on new business, revoked marina slip, Russell Dunst.
So on April the 4th is when all this came about. We were informed that a boat slip, that a boat being used as a vacation rental was in one of our boat slips. And when we looked into it, it turned out that slip was being rented by Russ Dunst at the time. And then we found out the boat was registered to Christina Stepp, which is his stepdaughter. We found a Craigslist advertisement advertising that boat as a vacation rental boat. And then we were able to, yeah. And so we were able to get in touch with her, called the number, and she verified it was, available for vacation rental use. And then we explained to her that that was, against our regulations. She needed to come in. She did receive a citation from us for that. And then we also called Mr. Dunst and left him a message explaining what codes he had violated and that we needed him to call us. And then we explained, it's in, I think I put it in the packet, the copy of the rental agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yes.
pretty much it just states that any slip renter, the boat that's in that slip, has to be in their name. And then it can't be used for commercial business other than that of a concessionaire. And so both of those were violated. And so, and at that time, we discontinued the use of his boat slip for violating those.
So what you're looking for here is to permanently revoke his boat slip privileges.
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah,
So at no future time could he get a boat slip? Is that what you're saying?
Right, yeah, just because both of them were violated, it was very obvious in the agreement what not to do, and that both of them were done. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we're asking.
I make a motion, we permanently revoke Mr. Dunst's boat slip privileges.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Then the staff's recommendation to permanently revoke Mr. Dunn's boat slip privileges is passed unanimously. Thank you very much.
That's Russ?
Is that Ross?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't recognize him with the hat on. Okay. Item E. No, excuse me. Item D, request to appeal civil citation number 0000835 is going to be tabled to a time in the future when we have the correct information.
May I amend this while we have it? I need to amend the recipient of the citation.
Well, we are already tabling it, so I don't think you really need to amend it now.
I don't think you need the approval to amend it. Is that what you're asking?
And you can just amend it, because we're gonna probably address it at a future time.
Do you need a motion to table or just? Okay.
Why don't you
Yeah,
do
we
it?
do.
Let's
Yeah,
do a
I'm
motion.
sorry, we
Need a
should
motion.
Let's do a motion to
Yeah, we
table.
do.
Yeah.
Can I-
I make a motion, we table discussion of civil citation number 0000835 until the next Marine Commission meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Then that request to appeal civil citation number 0000835 has been tabled to the next Marine Commission meeting. And our last item under new business,
It's just two more.
oh, excuse me, two more. Request from James Skiandra for an additional
Chandra.
tour, Chandra?
Yep.
Thank you for correcting me, for an additional tour boat on the commercial boat model. And Mr. Dean Gibbons will enlighten us on that.
Did you guys get the picture and the operation plan for Mr. Sandra? Okay,
Thank you, we did.
looking through the lake use regulations and, how this would have to fall into a category, this is very unique. It sounds very interesting, the type of business that he would do. It seems like it would be very low impact from what he's got. I think he said the motor on the Chris Craft is like a 35 horsepower motor. Yeah, he says very low, key. But he's wanting to try this out as a business venture. He's already in the commercial model now with, 2 livery boats, that he, operates out of the old Larkins building. I can't think of Lake House Diner or whatever it is. He operates 2 livery boats out of there under concession with them. And he also has, a couple rental homes that, or at least one rental home that he has a vacation rental boat out of. We've not had any issues out of his renters or out of him, with the town. In his letter, he's asking for this to be a livery, and it just does not fit. He is a tour boat, and if it fits, it has to go under a tour boat because it's a guided driver and it's essentially a tour of the lake. So there is room in the commercial model for one more tour boat. There is no more room for livery unless you were to make a adjustment, with the vacation rentals. But there is a tour boat, left in here. However, one of the things he's really concerned about is paying the expensive dues of being a tour boat when he's not gonna have the workload or the capacity to carry what everybody's carrying. So he's actually looking for a cheaper way to do this to see if the business will even work. A tour boat permit is $3,000 a year. A livery boat is, $2,000 a year. Some discussion's been to maybe even classify this as a service boat this year. But I still think it needs to go under a tour boat. Now, whether you want to work on the fees and say, this is something new, we wanna look at it and see if it can work and help him out or whatever, that's totally up to you guys. But, it's a lot of money for him carrying 2 people at a time out and giving them a couple of hour ride around the lake, having dinner, so. That's basically what he's explained to me, and figured I'd bring it to you guys for discussion.
I'm wondering if we create something or change something, if maybe it should go to the Lake Advisory Board first.
Has it been brought up at the Lake Advisory Board?
It has not. The Lake Advisory Board, in their last several meetings, have been doing workshops regarding the lake use regulations, so they really haven't taken any extra things on this year.
I'm a little apprehensive. If we make it really easy to get that kind of permit, then we're gonna have a bunch of other people saying, hey, let's change the model and let's add this, and I think it needs more discussion than what we're prepared to do right now.
I know that Mr. Chandra has been really above and beyond on his regulations and usage and coming to you and following the rules and
Right.
doing what he's supposed to do.
Right.
So I think that's admirable that he's doing this that way, and I love the idea of what
Right.
he's doing. That's pretty unique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I think as a tour boat, does he not have to have a concession agreement specifically for that tour
That's
boat?
in there too. The only way that, well, it ain't the only way, but one of the ways I would see it working, if the discussion was there and this board was prepared to do that, would be to put it as a special request and a special approval for 1 year only to be reevaluated before, I wouldn't give it as a pass or to say, this is what we're gonna do, you've got it. I would say, let's, look at it and see how it works and see how it works for the whole thing, you have the ability to do that, but I don't know if you're opening Pandora's box at the same time.
Yeah,
Well, that
that's my
sets a
concern.
I
precedent.
feel like we are. The other question I had was that, you know, he's got the little Chris Craft, little low-impact boat, carrying a couple people. Like I said, I love the thought. That
Right.
sounds like a cool thing to do.
Right.
But what if he decides, if we were to do something like that, do we limit, okay, it can only be that boat? In other words, he may decide, can he just decide to all of a sudden come up with a 15-seat pontoon boat and start running tours based off of something that we might do with this?
Right, no, it would be restricted to this boat. This boat would have that
And that's
permit.
it?
Yeah. So when he got that tour permit, it's locked to that
Right.
boat.
So do we want to refer this to the Lake Advisory Board, or do you want to?
I think
make a
at least
motion
there
now?
needs to be a concession agreement presented with this to
Yeah,
make it a package.
that was, to me, that was the glaring miss, was there's no concession agreement.
Right.
And forgive my ignorance, but you said he has a concession agreement with the lake house?
Yes. See, if you operate livery boats off the lake, you have to be in an area that is zone commercial.
Correct.
So the lake house is zone commercial, so what
Correct.
he's did is a concession agreement with them to allow him to operate boats out of their restaurant. So that puts him in a commercial zoned area.
Okay, I got that.
Mhm.
Did y'all know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't
I didn't know
realize
that the
that.
lake house had a concession agreement to allow someone to run boats out of their docks.
Is that a concession agreement with the town of Lake Lure or a concession agreement with the lake house?
It's a concession agreement with the lake house, not us.
Mhm.
But a tour boat needs a concession agreement with the town of Lake Lure.
A
Correct,
tour
yeah.
boat, yeah, has to be a direct concession with us, and it's, generally, 15%, I believe is what it currently is,
Mhm.
from each ticket sales.
Right.
And I did notice this said it said they would operate out of their commercial space,
Which would be the lake house.
the lake house, not, because I know their home,
Mhm.
where they're bringing their rental boats and keeping them, and then,
Right,
that's been very successful. I think that's worked out really well,
right.
unless you can tell me differently, but,
No,
because they're
it's,
delivering those boats just like he said he was going to.
right.
and- Yeah, so
And even
Okay.
when we did the, last year when we imposed the, hour meter readings,
Mhm.
this man is the only one that knocked it out of the park. He sent me spreadsheets with every day that they were out, every day of the year. He had the hours for each use, each person. It was just amazing of the work that he did just to report the hours to me. And he gave me a lot of data to track because of him breaking it down so fine.
Mhm.
Nice.
You know,
I think you could let him know that we're all nodding our head, we just need more information.
we need more information, the concession agreements.
Yeah, 'cause
To
I-
be
I-
looked into. I mean, the problem is you set a precedent.
Yeah, we
So
don't-
it's hard
we
to
don't need to-
discriminate against him who's
Right.
doing everything else right and somebody else who might want to do it.
that's,
That's
exactly,
the problem. So,
exactly.
do we,
Let's see.
in her
And-
motion,
and
we
I'll-
would like
and I'll
to
say,
refer this to the Lake Advisory Board?
If
Oh,
I may, like Lake Lure Tours, they do private concession charters too. And sometimes it's just 4 people, but they're willing to shell out $250, $300 for something more privatized.
Right.
People want that experience on the lake, and this is a fabulous idea. I love the engagement part of it too,
Yeah.
for a myriad of reasons.
Maybe-
I
Maybe you
agree.
could work that out.
Yeah, so, there's definitely
Others.
a money-making opportunity even with where
Yeah, we want to take
permits
it
is
to
laid out
LAB?
right now.
Or no?
Want to take it to the LAB?
Yeah, I think
You
it'd
guys
be a good
think
idea to
you
take
wanna
it
do
to
that?
LAB.
Yeah.
But before we vote, I'm gonna recuse myself from the vote because I do business with Mr. Chandra with Barnwood Builders and building that new home he's got over there, so I'm too close. So I won't vote, but if you wanna bring it to the LAB,
Do you
I'll
wanna-
bring it
I
there.
make a motion to, for this particular motion to, exclude Commissioner Gamru. We have to do that, but otherwise it's a yes vote.
That's right.
Oh, okay,
Right.
okay.
So I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we need to make a
Then
motion to,
Commissioner Diorio is excluded from this conversation. Would you like to make another motion on the,
I'd like to make a motion to refer this item to the Lake Advisory Board.
I would second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Then this issue will be referred to the Lake Advisory Board for review.
Thank you very much.
Very
And-
much.
Thanks, Dave.
William, we don't do this very often. Do we need another another motion to bring Commissioner DeAmbro back, or
DeAmbro?
the way I stated it is okay?
No, that's good.
Okay,
We don't
We're
have to-
good?
okay, good.
You can come back.
Yeah,
You're
thank you.
back.
Then
Thank you, I'm
that
back.
is the final
Thank you, Jim.
item on our agenda. Do I hear a motion? Oh, I'm so sorry. I wrote it in here. I beg your pardon, Mr. Henderson. Item F on new business is Boy Scout Troop 605 permit for waiver. Would you like to, is there something you'd like to share with us?
Man, I know.
She doesn't do that for him.
Well, she's a scout leader.
Mr. Henderson, I'm Commissioner Proctor.
I remember you.
I was actually mayor in 2007, and I don't know why it was not in the minutes, but I remember
It's
waiving the
sort
boat permits, and it supposedly in perpetuity until it was
That's what I
decided
thought,
not
too.
to.
But when I met Wendy, I didn't know that Linda had retired.
Right.
And they couldn't get in touch with Linda to verify it. They couldn't find it in the minutes. So I paid full fees on everything. And she said, if the town council will reinstate, you will waive whatever they say. But I've got a little notice there. If you can read through it, I'm not gonna insult your intelligence by
Well,
reading
just give us a
it.
minute. We'll read it. Thank you
Okay.
for getting.
Okay. It's got a little
It's-
And
history.
if you'd be more comfortable, please
No,
feel
I'm
free to
fine.
sit down.
I'm
Are you
fine.
okay?
I'm fine.
And
All right.
I'll go ahead and split some hairs.
Okay.
Minor Wilson was a friend of mine, and I did ski with him, but he did not teach me how
Oh,
to
wow.
ski.
I misunderstood that.
That's
part.
okay.
Jim was
And
born knowing how to
He
ski,
increased
yeah.
your skills.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I guess you still have a whole assortment of wetsuits that we used to rummage through so we could ski when it was
We
cold.
ski in the wintertime,
Right. Oh, yeah.
not as much now as we used to. But it seemed like if the air temperature and the water temperature added up to a certain amount, we'd go skiing.
Any questions or discussion? If not, do I hear a motion?
Oh, I have, well,
Oh.
yeah, let's discuss a little bit. By the way, thank you for your service to scouts. And you have several scout leaders around here. I was a scout myself.
I was gonna bring some scouts with me,
Yeah.
but they're all up at Camp Daniel Boone.
Oh, they're at Daniel Boone this
Good for
this
them.
week? All right, cool.
Lucky.
So this isn't aimed at scouting, but I just have a concern in general here. So as a nonprofit, and I'm not rewriting history, back in 2007, we gave you this waiver. But I'm just a little concerned that we set a precedent here for other nonprofits to get free waivers as they come forward. So Jim, what was the discussion back then?
The discussion back then was this particular scout troop does roadside cleanup in and
Okay.
around Lake Lure, has helped the town. I don't know what we've done recently, but
Yeah.
cleaning up debris in the lake. Now, I don't remember this, I thought it was, and that was for me a long time ago with my poor little
Well,
brain.
it
but
wasn't for every.
I think it was
we still
for
paid
two
some of it.
motorboats and two
It was
non-motorized.
two motorized, two non-motorized.
That's what I remember,
Okay.
but that was a long time ago, like I said.
Yeah.
The discussion back then was that these folks were actually very active and still active on doing community
We're still
service.
trying to be a good citizen as part of this town. And the Lake Lure is good for the Boy Scouts.
Right,
and the Boy Scout troop's good for Lake Lure.
Absolutely.
I
So I
totally
figure
agree. Now,
it's a win-win
I
situation.
agree with Commissioner DeAmbro on the precedent. We need to let it be known that if some group wants to ask for something like this, that they also need to be doing work for the town of Lake Lure,
Well,
or at least things that are good for the town of Lake Lure.
We used to have to come every year at the town council and ask for that.
Yeah.
And if I recall right, you and a couple of guys that operated the Lake Lure tour boats, they instigated this, or you did, or?
Well, I think it was just the discussion that even before I was mayor, you guys came every single year
Oh,
with a
yeah.
whole entourage, and it seems silly
Well-
to not just give you a carte
We
blanche.
killed two birds, we killed two birds with one stone. The kids had to go to a town council meeting for citizenship.
Right, okay, well, I
Yeah,
think we
citizenship
figured out, yeah.
citizenship in the community, right?
Badge, yeah.
There you
All
go.
right. Now we're talking.
Where's your troop, where's your
Edenville.
scout hut? Where?
It's-
In
it's-
Edneyville?
It's at the old Bill Wilson store, who was Minor's brother. And Minor bought that building and a garage building behind it for the
Okay.
scouts to use, and he left it to the scouts in
Oh, that's
his
nice.
estate or will,
Yep.
the trust that he created.
Great.
Now, in the old days, if you became an Eagle Scout in that particular troop, you could take Minor Wilson's Jaguar out for a date.
For a date, wow.
Yeah. Did you?
I got to do it.
Oh, you did?
My chest was stuck out somehow. And the girl asked to go to the prom with me. She didn't mind having to fluff her dress up and hold it up around her legs and sitting real low in that Jaguar. Well, I thought I was hot stuff back then.
Yeah.
You know, you need to hook up with Wade over here for some of that rowing
Yeah.
Rowan, yeah.
you got going. He could show those boys a couple things.
So, Mr. Henderson, you own the property over in Tryon Bay, so you're actually, these are actually resident permits, right?
Yes,
Okay, good. So, you know, one thing I would like to see, I would propose as we go through this, to codify it every year into reinforcement. If you could come to the Marine Commission and give a report of what your scouts did for us, bring them here,
Okay.
citizenship in the community.
Sure.
Just so we can see that, it'd be good for them, good for us.
Good
And at
PR.
that time, every year, we're good to go. I hate to go after a carte blanche because there's a lot of moving parts in our lake use model right
Right.
now. And things are changing very rapidly, though you have our full support.
Thank
And so I think if, I don't know, if they came
Well,
out
and I
here.
think
No, I
we
think
would
that's-
welcome hearing from them too, what they're
Absolutely.
doing.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
So
for us to
you
put
currently have one ski boat, 2 rowboats, 4 canoes, 2 stand-up paddle boards, and a pedal boat.
it's one of those that's got the little
Yep.
paddle wheels.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's more my speed. And you're wanting to permit, it says 2 power,
Well, both
And-
those little John boats
Mhm.
are rowboats. We use
Yeah.
them for teaching rowing, but
Right.
we also have some 9.9 horsepower motors. But this year, I didn't put it on because it was even more expensive to put
Yeah.
a motorized. I
Right.
just said, we're gonna use them as rowboats this year.
when do you guys
Okay.
get out there? When do you try to get out on the lake to do some of this stuff? I mean, I know I did.
We usually come down the lake 2 or 3 times in the spring. We have a week-long camp during
During the week.
during the summer.
Okay,
Well, it's usually, we used to go Monday through Friday, but now with parents working, both parents work, we try to do it Thursday through Sunday.
so you
So
guys
they
are
get
out
more
here
parent
doing the
and-
stuff on a weekend
Yes, yes.
during the summer,
And it's for a week long, we call it ski camp.
right?
And then we come usually 2 or 3 weekends in the fall,
Right.
and we sometimes come down, not to ski or swim in the wintertime, we'll come down, we'll have meetings and camp out at the lake house, because we've got platforms that boys can set their tents up on.
Nice. Okay.
And if it's too cold or too bad weather, we'll let them sleep inside.
Yeah, I think I'm with Commissioner Diorio here. I think each year, let's review it, but what you guys do is obviously, you know, it's near and dear to
Yeah.
a lot of our hearts for sure, and I'm sure the town, all of our citizens as well, so.
No, I support that motion, because I'm the only one that remembers the last
So-
time.
I just need to get on a mailing list, so somebody will remind me when that meeting's
Yeah,
gonna
when
be.
the
I'll
meeting
make sure the
So-
boys are.
Yeah.
So
Gonna be
you,
there.
you've paid for, because we're actually, reimbursing you now, right? We're giving money back to you. You've already paid, right?
I've already paid for one ski boat,
Right. And 2 non-motorized.
and two non-motor, well,
Right,
no,
so
I
you-
paid for more than two, I paid for, what, 6?
But the agreement was for 2, right?
Yeah,
So
yes,
So
sir.
we're
It was-
actually
it
going
was
to reimburse you. I just want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get the reimbursement right. So
Sure.
1 motorized, 2 non-motorized. And just to reconfirm, that we really need to have you have watercraft insurance on those things.
We do.
Your umbrella,
Oh, that's-
I'm familiar with the
That's when
boat.
I discovered this.
Yeah,
I thought we'd been doing this for 25, 30 years, using the Boy Scout umbrella
Right,
insurance.
right.
For $1 million, and I thought, boy, we're home free.
right,
And then, I don't know if Mr. Morgan's the one that pointed it out or not. but
yeah,
Come to find out, it's just secondary insurance.
right,
They'll pay after our liability pays.
right.
And I
Or
said-
else we become your secondary insurance.
And I searched through, I went through about 10 different, insurance companies, and nobody would touch it because it was trust. Then
Oh, okay.
luckily, I said, well, it was a trust created under Minor Wilson's last will and testament. And a testament trust is different from a commercial trust, and it was no problem. We got $300,000 worth of liability insurance for $100.
Good.
So everything
Good deal.
turned out well.
All right, so I think I got it. I think I got it from the motion. Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve 1 complimentary motorized and 2 complimentary non-motorized permits.
Could I, you said 1, but we used to get 2 non-motorized. We
For
used-
this year, I'm doing the
Oh, oh, oh,
reimbursement. I'm
okay,
doing the
okay.
reimbursement. So, I'll start over again. So I make a motion that for 2022, we approve 1 complimentary motorized and 2 complimentary non-motorized residential annual permits, fees to be reimbursed to Troop 605. And in the future, Troop 605 would report to the first Marine Commission of the year for additional approvals as required. And we'll leave the number out,
Make an annual report.
annual report. At that time, we'll let you know what we'll approve. So
Okay.
we won't give you any set number. We'll wait
Okay.
till you.
Well, I didn't expect a blank check.
Okay. So I'm sorry that was long-winded.
That's all right.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion stands approved as read, and thank you
Very
so
good.
much
Thank
for
you
what
for
you
your
do.
time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
very
Thank you,
much.
Mr. Henderson.
And that concludes our Marine Commission meeting. Having no further business, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn, Madam Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
David, I apologize for mispronouncing your name.
Oh, that's okay.
I was talking
Listen,
to Deambro before the meeting.
I know,